Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Holman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Holman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we talk with Chad Bullock from Premier Farm and Home about winterizing your horses and cattle. And inside Kansas Ag, Kansas Soybean tells us about the newest United Soybean Board appointees, and Farm Bureau gives us great information about the My American Farm website. And in news you need to know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association. We'll look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Wheat Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association. Supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. The USDA is expecting record corn and soybean production because of increased yields and higher acreage totals. The USDA is expecting record soybean yields in Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, and 8 other states, producing states, with projections at 4.2 billion bushels, up 9% from 2015, with an average yield of 51.4 bushels per acre. Harvested area is expected to be 83.4 million acres compared to 81.7 in 2015. Corn is projected at 15 billion bushels, 11% more than last year. Harvested area is seen at 86.8 million acres compared to 80.7 million in 2015. Partnership with Native Americans, or PWNA, is one of 9 organizations selected by the Walmart Foundation to receive grants to fund programs that address hunger and nutrition education as a way to strengthen local communities. Partnership with Native Americans was awarded $258,000, which will help serve 26,000 Native American people by providing children's nutritional snacks and juice service through food pantries, distributing emergency food supplies through food pantries, providing fresh produce at 8 elder nutrition centers, supporting 10 community garden projects, conducting canning and healthy cooking training in 15 communities, and equipping a mobile nutrition and training unit for use in Southwest communities. The USDA says U.S. food exports and domestic demand have been good, and say U.S. beef and pork production have set new monthly records several times this year, and the year-to-date total is 3% ahead of last year. In September, beef production was the highest ever since the USDA started counting the data in 1932 at 520 million pounds. Pork was up 5% on the month at 642 million pounds. High production levels and export competition pushed cheese stocks up 7% on the year to 1.2 billion pounds. Poultry production total was up 2% at 1.2 billion pounds, with a 14% increase in turkey. And in local news, Kansas feedlots with capacities of 1,000 or more head contained 2.2 million cattle on feed on October 1st, according to USDA's NASS. This inventory was up 10% from last year. Placements during September totaled 420,000 head, up 5% from 2015. Fed cattle marketings for the month of September totaled 360,000 head, up 13% from last year. Other disappearances during September totaled 10,000 head, unchanged from last year. Since 2012, more than 50 Kansas small businesses have achieved $17.2 million in export sales through STEP grant programs. The Kansas Department of Commerce is currently accepting STEP grant applications for small businesses to help them start the exporting process, or for the first time, or to assist existing exporters expand. The program includes export seminars and training courses, support for entering new markets, and much more. To learn more about the STEP program, visit kansascommerce.com/STEP. The cold weather rule, designated to help Kansas families that are behind on their utility payments and avoid disconnections during the winter months, begins November 1st and remains in effect through March 31st. The cold weather rule, first enacted by the Commission in 1983, prevents or limits utility companies from disconnecting customers' natural gas or electric service during periods of extreme cold. More information about the cold weather rule may be found at kcc.ks.gov. Up next in our Ag Feature, we talk with Chad Bullock from Premier Farm and Home about winterizing your horses and cattle. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Thanks for staying with us. We're at Premier Farm and Home. We're joined by our good friend Chad, who, Chad, it's been a little while since I've seen you.
I know. How you doing, Brian? It's great to see you.
First of all, if you haven't done your yard yet, come out to Premier Farm and Home. Come and see them. They've got plenty of grass seed, fertilizer, and everything you need.
Absolutely.
Get your yard looking great for coming into spring. So besides that, let's start winterizing our horses.
Okay.
So I know our diet's going to change a little bit.
That's true. Yeah. So one of the things to consider is whether your horses are going to be stalled or if they're going to be out in the open. And another thing to consider is, if the horse grew up in Kansas and has always been in Kansas or this area, they're going to probably grow a winter coat. But if you maybe imported one from back east or California or something like that, just be watching them, make sure they develop that coat properly and that we're getting ready to go. And then also to get your plans together for winter. So we want to make sure that we know what ration we're going to feed. We also want to kind of see what condition those animals will be in. So we want them to have a nice, a good body score condition to where they're healthy, maybe even a little overweight or a little heavy by 50 pounds or so going into winter. So if that cold shiver comes through and they end up shivering off some weight, we're not trying to put it back on or put in a big deficit going into spring.
Well, not only is feed important, water is very important.
Water is extremely important. So one thing to consider with water is the horses will not drink less just because it's cold outside. They're going to drink the same amount. So we want to make sure that horse is drinking an appropriate amount of water and that's not freezing up too fast. They're able to drink it. So another good thing to do is to check your heaters, make sure your heaters are working, have a backup plan. If that heater doesn't work, maybe even carry an extra or spare around.
It never fails. It'll be 90 degrees one day, and then we could have 4 inches of snow the next day. Putting it off, thinking you can put it off till the first freeze hits or the first snow hits, because once it turns cold, there's a chance it's just going to go cold.
Right, and it can catch you by surprise. So a lot of times, I'm not going to say I haven't done that. I've gone out there and, oh no, it doesn't work. And so having spares of things around and on hand so you're not having to go fight the crowd or fight the weather to get in and get supplies. Make sure you have all that prepared and on hand.
Body condition score, you brought that up.
Yeah.
probably print that off online, kind of, and rate it honestly.
Correct. Yeah, that's the other thing. It does you no good. It does your horse no good to kind of fib and put it, at a 6 when it's really a 5 or whatever. So just go ahead and honestly fill that out. They certainly have body condition guideline scores. Purina Mill's website has an excellent one that you can do. You can also find some through Extension, these body scoring guides. And all they're doing is telling the general condition of the horse, and then you can look at it and then rate it so you know whether you're losing weight, gaining weight, where you at.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hay, extremely important also this time of the year.
Right, so your hay, especially in the wintertime, we have to remember that hay won't have all the vitamins that you originally had in that grass. So make sure that your supplements are there, or your feed that you're going to use, and that you have a plan for that as well. So.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about cattle. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Thanks for staying with us. We're out of Premier Farm and Home. We're talking to Chad about winterizing your cattle and your horses. In the first segment, we talked about horses. Same kind of scenario for cattle. Generally, you're not going to stall cattle, but they're going to be out in the open, so body condition scores also going to be important.
Yeah, it's an excellent place to start. So again, it's easier to put weight on an animal that is not experiencing temperature stress. Their demands will increase significantly as it gets colder. So they'll have kind of this little happy place where they're at, but if they get wet or that wind chill kicks up, their demands can jump, 20-30%, over those time periods where weather's poor.
Perfect. We want to make sure that if we build some type of break, we build it big enough to basically take care of most of your cattle, or? Right,
a windbreak, something to take that wind chill off is extremely important, and it can also be important for your water supplies too, to keep them from freezing. But giving them some sort of break from that weather can significantly reduce their demands as far as calories go going into winter.
Perfect. Tubs, we want to make sure, is this a good time of the year to start thinking about stocking up on tubs?
So a good way to do it is to again have that plan for cold weather. And so if we're going to start supplementing our cows, if we're starting to move in and feed that hay, having a little bit of time to do an actual test of the hay to see where you're at as far as protein goes and as far as total digestible nutrients, then you have a plan on how much you need to supplement. So you can plan to have a certain amount of hay, per head, and a certain amount of supplement per head that you'll need for the wintertime, and to always have extra on hand in case you get those short stints of weather where you're going to need to pull supplement out or you'll need to get to them in hard places. So.
And we've got cows and we've got heifers who could be calving coming into the fall, so we want to make sure that we're taking care of them.
Right, yeah, especially, what you forget about heifers, especially our first calf heifers, they're still growing themselves, so don't forget to feed them. A lot of times that old cow won't require as much, so, using your tools of managing those first calf ones that haven't had calves, and also using, their conditioner, how much pasture you got left to decide when to wean your calves is important too. Go ahead and pull those calves off early, and the cows will do a lot better on that pasture than the cows and calves combined.
And I always heard a story. You might want to, if you're going to feed in the bunk, you might want to watch and make sure there's not some cows kicking those young heifers out.
Absolutely true. And so sometimes, that boss cow will certainly take over most of that, and then those heifers kind of leave them on the sideline there. So some ways to help with that are using products like tubs where, that cow can't sit there and guard it the whole time. So they always have the ability to get to a little something, or even separating the pens depending on age is also important. Hey, let's keep our heifers together here, and then we'll move our adult cows over here. That's also is a good strategy because you're going to want to feed them differently. And we want to remind everybody that if you've got an automatic water, make sure that the electricity, there's nothing sticking out of the ground. Yep. Nothing worse than coming out and finding a cow laying in the middle of a pasture somewhere. Now hopefully you've all wired those to code and you have your GCFI circuit, so it won't do that. Exactly. But it doesn't hurt to do a good check to make make sure we don't have any wires that aren't where they should be, and to just make sure that all the components are working properly, and to have little backups on hand, you know, valves and stuff like that for going into winter.
Perfect. HeyCal.com is all the information you need for house and home. So,
yeah.
Watching Kansas Ag Report, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
The United Soybean Board will grow from 70 to 73 directors this winter to represent soybean production growth in Missouri, New Jersey, and Wisconsin. New and returning farmer leaders will be sworn in at USB's annual meeting in St. Louis, Missouri, December 9. All appointees were nominated by their qualified state soybean boards, like the Kansas Soybean Commission, and confirmed by U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack in late September. This year's 39 new and returning appointees will join the other 34 farmer leaders in directing soybean checkoff funds to research, marketing, and promotion efforts to increase the value of U.S. soy. The checkoff works with partners in the value chain to identify and capture such opportunities. To embody the farmer perspective, farmer leaders from the soybean growing region volunteer their time and skills to maximize profit opportunities for their peers across the country. Through their expertise, vision, and inspiration, the checkoff grows innovation beyond the bushel. The Secretary reappointed Ron Oldie from Palmer and Lance Rezac from Onega is a new appointment. With Craig Igstad from Valley Falls, they will be the Kansas delegation at USB. Bob Hazelwood from Barryton will leave the board after 11 years, including terms as treasurer, vice chairman, and chairman. For more information about USB, visit unitedsoybean.org on the web.
At Farm Bureau, we understand the vast majority of Americans are several generations removed from the direct experience of farming. Today, I'd like to introduce you to My American Farm. The My American Farm website was designed to help bridge that gap. This educational game platform engages pre-K through 5th grade learners in the discovery of relevant agricultural issues. The totally free site offers agriculturally themed games and more than 100 free educator resources such as ag lesson plans, activity sheets, and comics. My American Farm is a wonderful place for young learners to explore and discover more about food, fiber, and energy. The interactive games are divided by grade level and subject matter and include titles such as Ag Across America, Amazing Grains, Equipment Engineer, Fact or Fairy Tale, Farmer's Market Challenge, Grocery Grab, Harvest This, Keys to Stewardship, Load the Lunchbox, and My Little Ag Me. There are also great ideas for the classroom, fairs, and events, or some good old family fun. My American Farm is a special project of the Farm Bureau Foundation. The site and resources are made possible through the generous support of the title sponsor, DuPont Pioneer. To take advantage of the free My American Farm ag lesson plans, resources, games, and activities, visit www.myamericanfarm.com.
If you would like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call, 785-580-3287. Thanks for making Kansas Ag Report the most watched ag show in Kansas.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand. And I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
3 Kansans will serve in committee leadership roles at the national level beginning at the 2017 Cattle Industry Convention and Trade Show, February 1st through 3rd in Nashville, Tennessee. Debbie Lyons Blythe, a rancher from White City, will serve as vice chair of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association Ag and Food Policy Committee. Identifying beef industry priorities for the next farm bill will be a key item of discussion for this committee during 2017. White City cow-calf producer Marianne Kniebel will serve as vice chair of the NCBA Policy and Resolutions Committee. Representing the Federation of State Beef Councils, Pratt cattle feeder Jerry Bone will serve as co-chair of the Joint Beef Safety Committee. This committee will identify projects for checkoff investments that enhance beef safety with a continued emphasis on reducing E. coli 0157H7 and a relatively new focus on minimizing Shiga toxin producing E. coli and Salmonella in beef. Another Kansan is the current president of NCBA. Tracy Bruner, a cattle feeder and rancher from Ramona, has represented NCBA members across the country since his election in January. He has testified before Congress on a number of issues important to the cattle and beef industry. Bruner will continue in this capacity as the organization's top volunteer leader through the convention in Nashville.
Good morning. I'm Eric Osterhaus with Paragon Ag Advisors. The U.S. corn harvest continues to plug right along with nothing in the headlines to cause any major concerns. It appears that we could easily see corn prices work themselves into a narrow range as increases in futures are met with a wider basis, and vice versa. We still feel that some combination of election fears, fund activity, or outside markets are really needed to break out of this range. Soybeans continue to grind higher, backed by strong global demand. We're still running about 75% harvested and behind last year's pace. It appears that soybean futures are looking for an excuse to try to trade through the $10 mark. However, there's a lot of technical resistance in that area. In regards to the physical market, it's worth noting that some producers are being forced to store corn and beans in the field for a time as elevators fill up. For uncontracted grain, many are being asked to pay a significant dump charge or NPE fee if it's not sold across the scales. This has forced many producers to re-own the grain. Not an ideal situation when margins are already tight. Moving on to wheat, we continue to battle burdensome supply headlines. It is important to note the dry weather and the warm temps across the southern plains and parts of Kansas and Colorado. The planting pace and conditions for wheat have been less than ideal, but the real question is how many acres are being planted. The 2017 crop may still continue to struggle from a price standpoint, but we may see some risk premium added to the 2018 crop. If you do have any questions, please give us a call at 888-452-8751. Have a productive day.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansasAGreport.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Wheat Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association. Supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.